no use, man. We can't find him.
No luck for me either. I didn't sense anything over there. The fog's so dense it might be affecting my readings. I wish I could do better. I'm sorry.
Ted. Don't tell me he really went back to his world this time. We told him over and over that he could stay here.
You recall the mysterious dream you had last night. This may be a time for contemplation rather than action. This is what Igor said, but...
I guess that's all we can do right now. He plays dumb a lot, but he's attached to us deep down. He wouldn't disappear without saying anything, right?
I'm worried for Teddy myself, but let's trust in him and await his return. Right now, we must concentrate on the case. It won't be long before Namatame is transferred to another location. We must hurry, or we will miss our only chance to get his perspective on this.
You know, I've been thinking about the case since, but something just doesn't seem right.
Let's quickly review the facts. Of all the victims, only 2 were killed. Miss Yamano the announcer, and Saki-san. From the documents we found in the car, we know Namatame had some sort of dealings with them. After that, there were multiple attempted murders in which we were targeted. It was only when he took Nanako-chan that we caught him in the act, identifying his modus operandi in the process.
When I hear you put it like that, sounds like the dude's guilty.
As a result of Namatame's arrest, the police admitted that Mitsuo Kubo was a mere copycat killer.
Back up to yesterday. Remember when you said Namatame didn't have a motive to kill the announcer? That's what's bothering me.
Right. Either he's completely nuts, or we're misunderstanding something.
You lost me.
She's trying to say that if Namatame is sane, then there may be facts in the case we don't know about yet.
like another killer!
Sane or insane? Sounds like a play I saw before.
When he talks about saving people, what does that actually mean? I don't think there's any doubt that it includes kidnapping people and throwing them into the TV.
Could he mean saving them through death? He did call himself a savior, and said that the other side is a wonderful world.
So they'll be saved if they die? What a bunch of crap! The bastard should have gone and saved himself! What do you think, Senpai? If you think about it normally, it's gotta be him. But there ain't nothing normal about that world anyways.
There's something I've been wondering about for a while. When we first encountered him, he said, "You're the ones I saved. Don't worry, I'll save this girl too." So, if he saves people by killing them, did he save us too?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, save. It's a literal term. We're all thinking about this too hard, where it's like, oh, save has to have some kind of hidden meaning. But nah, dude. I think save means exactly what it sounds like.
Wouldn't he actually have failed to save us?
You raise a good point. If he thinks that salvation comes only through death, his words to us make no sense. And another thing, the Namatame who appeared on the Midnight Channel said he failed to save Nanako-chan.
Well, maybe he really was trying to save the victims by putting them inside the TV. Come on, don't get all quiet like that. You guys know I just say the first dumb thing that pops into my head.
The possibility that he truly intended to save us.
But he's still the one who threw in Saki-senpai and that announcer, right? Sure, we haven't nailed down his motives, but that doesn't change the fact that he killed them. Or what? You think someone else was involved? What makes you think so?
Possibility of a culprit besides Namatame. Could there be something that proves that possibility? I mean, when he talks about saving people, Yamano and Saki-senpai didn't really come up, so. This is obviously wrong. Mitsuo's got nothing to do with this.
Warning letter? Oh yeah! Whatever happened to that thing?
If Namatame's the killer, he must have been the one who wrote it, right?
Let's review them.
You recall that the first warning letter said, "Don't rescue anymore." And the second one said, if you don't stop this time, someone close will be put in and killed.
Yes, that's right.
Isn't that kind of odd? Would someone who thinks he's saving people by killing them write stuff like, don't rescue or kill?
Yeah, and the will be put in and killed part doesn't make sense either. If the killer was writing it, wouldn't it be more like, I'll put in and kill?
Hey, could this mean... Yeah, it's almost like someone else wrote this letter. But only the killer would write such a letter and deliver it to Dojima-san's house, right? If someone else wrote it, that could only mean...
Dear God. Since this is such an unusual case, I was absolutely convinced that other than the Kubo incident, there was one culprit.
So Namatame really was trying to save his victims?
Everything is exactly the opposite of what it first seemed. In Namatame's parlance, failing would have been the first two cases when the victims died. If he had used his method twice and failed both times, he would hardly have continued using the TV. And yet he did. It all seems to suggest that someone else wrote this warning letter while observing the entire case.
And kind of acting as a manipulator for Namatame. In a way, a killer did something, right? The main killer tossed Yamano and tossed Saki-senpai in the TV, triggering Namatame and making him be like, oh, I gotta save these people. And then now Namatame takes the blame for it. I talked about this before, but I'm not really a fan of the twist. We'll get to it today, definitely. I do really like some of it, though. Like, I like the concept of, like, hey, Namatame is kind of, like, believed to be the killer, but they kind of find a way to be like, okay, like, Namatame could have done it, but, like, it probably wasn't him. Like, having Namatame be somewhat of a person to put the blame towards. It's cool. It's neat. I like it. But, you know, it does fall flat later, and I'll explain why when we get to it.
Someone else? Then it wasn't Namatame that killed Saki-senpai and the announcer?
We can't say for certain yet. We urgently need to speak with Namatame face to face.
We'll all work together to take another step toward the truth. Yo, level up for Seekers of Truth. Here we are, reaching out to the truth, evermore.
How though? After what happened yesterday, they said they're gonna tighten security.
I have a plan, but there's no time to waste. Let's hurry to the hospital.
Hey, this place is off limits.
I'm a consultant with the police. I'd like a few words with Namatame-san. May I go in?
This is Unit 252, requesting confirmation on an ID. Name of Naoto Shirogane. Huh? Ah, understood. I see. Well, you're on the list. I can give you a few minutes, but I'll have to record your conversation with him for security purposes. Not that I expect you'll get anything coherent out of the guy. He's been spouting nothing but gibberish.
I'd like him to accompany me as well. He has no identification, but this is an emergency situation, and he's here in Detective Dojima's stead.
Huh? Detective Dojima sent him? I wasn't informed of this.
I'll vouch for his identity.
Well, I guess it's better than dealing with the man himself. We have our hands full with the transport procedures, so the last thing we need is Detective Dojima running wild. Detective Adachi is busy somewhere too. This is Unit 252. Huh? I see.
Has something happened?
There's something about a suspicious object out in the lobby.
Ah, well then, this works out nicely. You should back up your colleagues downstairs. We'll keep watch over Namatame-san. A disturbance in a hospital lobby, after all. It sounds serious.
If anything happens, hit the nurse call button. I'll leave the rest to you.
Understood. Please be careful. I knew they were undermanned, but I didn't expect it to go this smoothly. There's nothing much inside that suspicious object, so he won't be gone long.
All right, then now's our chance to talk to Namatame.
Dude! I'm gonna wait till they talk and then say it.
Namatame-san, there's something we'd like to ask you.
Okay, before they get into this, something that was like a major FF8 moment. Like when the guard was leaving and then the others ran down the stairs. How did they not see the rest of the investigation team? Like, that's like the Renoa thing all over again when Renoa leaves the room and Quistis, Zell, and Selphie aren't able, like, they don't see Renoa, they don't like meet up because they're going the same way. Like, how narrow could the pathway be? Same thing here. Like, how on earth was the investigation team not seen? Other than for plot convenience.
It's tempting to think that you were the culprit behind this entire case, and to be honest, there are many in this town who hope you are, but we are here to learn the truth. So please, answer our questions.
Huh?
Seems he understands what you're saying. What should you ask him?
Huh? Me?
Okay, yeah, so Yamano and Saki weren't his victims.
They were killed. I couldn't save them. No. If nobody saves them, they'll be killed. That's why I put them in there.
Then tell me if my estimation is correct so far. After discovering the Yamano and Konishi incidents, you realized an appearance on the Midnight Channel meant certain death. Thus, to save her from that fate, you kidnapped Yukiko Amagi. You couldn't let her be killed, so you threw her into the TV, preventing the killer in this world from reaching her. And you repeated the process as more individuals appeared on the Midnight Channel. It all falls into place. His body is weak, but his mind is sound. He's trying to tell us the truth.
Yeah, but if the stuff he's saying is true...
There's another killer who murdered the first two victims?
Indulge us in a few more questions.
I have no idea. I want to know that too. What are you talking about?
Alright, didn't send the letter. I didn't expect him to.
I didn't know. I never thought it would be that kind of place.
As I thought.
You believe me? Did they find him? Did they find the one who did such cruel things? Mayumi.
Please calm down. Our ability to find the culprit rests on you. We know about the other world. In fact, we're the only ones who can fully understand what you have to say.
Only you?
We did blame you for everything at first, but now I think we can accept whatever you got to tell us as truth.
Please, tell us everything you can, calmly and slowly.
You're willing to listen? Do my story? All right. Soon after my affair with Mayumi became common knowledge, I returned to my parents' home, as if to run away from the scandal.
And I started drinking heavily to drown my anxieties. I hadn't been able to reach Mayumi at all, and that didn't help either. Mayumi, where are you? She'd been disgraced on all the afternoon shows, and forced to resign from the program she was on. I caused her so much trouble. I wanted to at least apologize to her, but I couldn't even do that. I lost the will and energy to do anything. Then, one day, the rumor I heard some time ago came back to me. Since I had nothing better to do, I sat down blankly in front of the TV and watched my own reflection. And all of a sudden, there was Mayumi. Mayumi? Is that you? The Mayumi inside the TV looked as if she was calling to me for help. Mayumi? Mayumi! When I reached out unthinkingly to touch her, my arm disappeared into the TV, as if I had dipped it into a pool of water. I was so shocked that I lost my balance and nearly fell face first into the TV. I was so scared. I couldn't understand what just happened. I thought maybe I'd gone insane. In the end, I decided to think of it as just a dream, and I went back to the city the next day after finishing work. The next afternoon when I got to work, I was fired on the spot, as I expected. That wasn't what broke me, though. It was Mayumi being found dead. And not just that, but it had happened in my hometown.
Namatame is casting his eyes downward, painfully.
I was dumbstruck. But later on, I remembered the image of Mayumi I'd seen that night. Was it not a dream? Could it really have been an SOS from Mayumi? I hadn't touched another TV because the first time was so terrifying, but I decided to try it again. And I confirmed that none of it was a dream. So that image, was it something Mayumi showed me, calling for help? That's how I felt.
And eventually, you learned of the Midnight Channel.
I remembered that when Mayumi was alive, she was chasing a rumor about some bizarre TV program. I'd heard about it before, but I thought it was just an urban legend. But then Mayumi appeared on it, and later turned up dead. The more I thought about it, the harder it became to believe that the two events were unrelated. Soon after that, I came back to Inaba to answer the police's questions. I'd lost my job, and I wanted to know the truth of Mayumi's death for myself. Then, on another rainy night, someone else appeared on the Midnight Channel. She looked like she was calling for help, just like Mayumi.
Sorry, I skipped the line.
Then, on another rainy night, someone else appeared on the Midnight Channel. It was a girl. She looked like she was calling for help, just like Mayumi.
Yeah, it's probably Saki-senpai.
The first thing that came into my mind was, maybe this girl will be the next to die.
And that was Saki-senpai.
I'd been following all the news about Mayumi, so I noticed right away that she was the girl who found Mayumi's body. And if my hunch was right, she'd be the next victim. I didn't want her to die the way Mayumi did. So I desperately kept watching. I was consumed with the idea of rescuing her. Then, little by little, her image on the screen came into sharper focus.
It became sharper?
How did you find out it was her?
After I came back, my father couldn't bear to see me in such low spirits. and gave me a job with the family business. I met that girl when I delivered a package to the liquor store. After agonizing over it, I decided to meet her and told her to be careful. But that same night, on the TV, she looked as if she was being engulfed by some black shape. She was writhing in pain. That's why I warned her. Why won't she pick up the phone? Come on, please! The next day, they found her dead. I knew she was gonna be murdered, but I couldn't save her. I blamed myself, thinking there must have been something I could have done. There was no one who depended on me. Nobody at work, not even my wife. Mayumi was the only one who accepted me for who I was. But she was murdered, and the same person killed another girl. I was beside myself. I couldn't forgive myself for doing nothing.
You really did love Miss Yamano.
Yes, from the bottom of my heart. Before I was married, my wife made it big in show business. I was happy for her, but it put a strain on our relationship.
I think I can kind of relate.
It was around that time when I met Mayumi. She was interviewing our candidate for the next election. She was a big-name announcer, but she only worked with local stations, and her attitude towards work was similar to mine. We both came from Inaba, so she was easy to talk to. I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't help getting intimate with her. She gave meaning to my life. Soon after Saki-san was found dead, yet another girl appeared on TV. That was you.